Welcome to Autism Tips and Tools, where we highlight the best practical guidance from previous episodes of Autism Knows No Borders. Whether you're a self-advocate, a family member, or a service provider, there's something here for you. I'm Rachel Harmon, a professional in the field of autism services, outreach, and advocacy, and the following clip is from my conversation with Michael John Carley, an Autistic Self-Advocate, author, and consultant. Michael was the founder of GRASP, the largest organization in the world comprised of adults on the autism spectrum, and the founding executive director of ASTEP, now called Integrate, whose mission is to help organizations identify, recruit, and retain professionals on the autism spectrum. Listen to Michael's thoughts about why autistic people are given a censored version of sex education and about the influence that culture has over attitudes towards sexuality.
I think people are too scared of what's going to happen to us. I think that we have a society that is maybe the most scared of sex on the planet, which is ridiculous because of how privileged we are economically. We allow these hurtful, dumb, mean, scary, punitive legislature into how we rule what basically should be a biological response and a desire for pleasure that everyone deserves and has a right to. I can't say enough about how just destructive Americans especially are when it comes to healthy attitudes about sexuality. I think that everywhere on planet Earth, we try to control what is a biological thing with social constructs, with culturally created manifestations. And it's never going to work. Biology is never going to listen to a social construct. And it's one of the things where, I'm a dumb straight white guy in a lot of ways. And I know that it's one of the reasons why, all of the LGBTQ population that read this book, that gave it, the massive thumbs up, is that when you really actually just focus on the biology, that, a frenulum and a clitoris are just going to respond to whatever they want to respond to, no matter what kind of a, society you find yourself in. That makes things a little bit easier to comprehend. And it also shows just how just mean and stupid we are about this subject.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to understanding the difference in cultures from having moved to Spain.
Yes.
And you see it even just on the streets here. People are not afraid to show affection. You'll see people making out on the bus. And, at first, my American instinct was to be kind of grossed out. And I'm like, man, they should get a room. How could they do this? People are watching. And I felt so uncomfortable. And then over time, with many conversations with my husband, who's from here, I've learned to kind of appreciate it and applaud them even for just how beautiful it is to be in love and to want to express that and not care what people think about you. Where on the other side, back in the States, even just growing up thinking about how my mom would change the channel on the TV if something sexual would come up. And it was just so awkward, even as an adolescent watching something sexual with my family members. And I'm like, oh, we just don't talk about this stuff.
I didn't really fully answer your question because the danger, obviously, that a lot of people have, which is very real for adults on the spectrum, though, is, when you're sexually underdeveloped because you haven't had a healthy curriculum, of course you're going to turn to the online stuff. And we have a lot of our folks that have found themselves on the sex offender registry. And I don't care what anybody says. If I have a client or a patient that is in any kind of a threat to be on that registry, I say, while you still have your passport before they take it away, get out of the country because your life is over if you're on that. Mm. We live in such a punitive system that especially people on the spectrum who just want to get the interview with the cop over with, that they'll sign anything. And we've had so many people that have been railroaded onto that registry that do not deserve to be on the registry. The registry is something that I think was a good idea to start out with. And unfortunately, local prosecutors just use it as a way to win elections and to look tough on crime by increasing their numbers against really innocent people. I mean, especially, when we lie to our citizens and we say that we're a society that doesn't tolerate rape. Are you kidding me? Seen our prison system yet? When we all nudge each other and go wink, wink, yeah, that guy's going to get it in prison. Don't tell me we don't tolerate rape. We don't not only do we tolerate it, we encourage it. It's still a huge part of our fabric. So that's what parents are usually scared of. But unfortunately, for all of us right now, porn is the sex ed because none of us are comfortable taking over for porn to be the teachers anymore.
Mm-hmm. This problem with not educating people on the spectrum or people with special needs, not educating them properly, is really just kind of a reflection, like how we were saying, of how the culture views sex in general. So, what are some of your ideas to combat the Puritan values or how much religion plays a part in society?
It's a hard question because I think I'm still a little stupefied by why we've allowed such harmful ideals to flourish. I'm still a little confused by that. I think that we have a history of trying to nobly give everyone a voice in the name of pluralism. But if you want to take your particular community's views and instill it into a public atmosphere, i.e. the separation between church and state being destroyed, that's really one of the first bad signals that we send to these harmful purveyors because we're legitimizing them. I think that when we've allowed that stuff into our schools, where in the dumb Midwest, you still have abstinence programs, which lie through their teeth to kids, instead of healthy sex ed programs in the public schools sometimes. That's only occurred because people have let them. And I think haven't we learned enough about maybe not allowing people the keys to the entire castle and letting science dictate science? I mean, in America, you've seen it. We never used to politicize healthcare. We never used to politicize education. But it's all become, this partisan background. And because of the fact that we're so terrified of healthy sexuality, we just let it roam free. And honestly, my only idea, and it's not that good a one, is, again, focusing on the biology. And if you just listen to that and listen to the science of what your body wants, and that if you have a kink, understand it's not going to go anywhere. So, maybe a painful conversation needs to be had. And just understanding that this is all really healthy, not unhealthy.
Thanks for tuning in to Autism Knows No Borders. Would you like to hear more about how autistic people can have a healthy approach to sexuality? Follow the link in the show notes for my full conversation with Michael John Carley. And be sure to subscribe for more stories from people connected to autism, inspiring change, and building community. Let's work together to transform how the world relates to autism. Thanks for listening. Take care.